Hey, it's Mazzy here. So I'm back from hiatus. It seemed like a hiatus because I haven't done a joint video, one of these joint ventures in a while. And I always say this is a very special edition because this is a Pacific Northwest edition. And actually the first of two. I'm doing another Pacific Northwest one next week. But I'm with Dana
Kimborowitz.
Kimborowitz, Kimbo. So we got Kimbo and Mazzy
Oh,
together. So thanks
sure.
for doing this.
No problem. My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay. Kimbo is what, hour and a half north from me, give or take?
An hour, maybe.
Hour. Okay, maybe the way you drive. Getting through Seattle is just half the battle. Once you're on the
Yes.
other side of downtown, it's easier. We're going to do one that concept or a video that Kimbo suggested. I think it's a great idea. Kind of shout outs, but it's records we got turned on to by watching other video channels, pretty much. I think this may stray a little bit back and forth. We don't know what each other's picking or who we're picking. And obviously we're not playing favorites, and there are probably countless others that we bought. And one thing I've noticed that it's being in the vinyl community and watching these videos is extremely a dangerous endeavor, especially if you're sitting with a phone and you can just click buy or a computer or something. Because I've definitely got it turned on to things, and sometimes it's because of the way it's shown, the description. But obviously, I'd like to hear it a little bit. But even if I don't hear it, sometimes I can tell from who's presenting it if I've been following their taste and going along. So in my case, there's very little. I looked at this. I'm surprised. Not a lot of rock and roll. There's a couple things because I as much as I love rock and roll, I have so much of it. But I've been getting into obviously more jazz and more out there stuff. It's just coincidentally the stuff I pulled. But so usually the guest goes first. So Kimbo, why don't you start and take it from there?
Yes. And before I start, I want to echo exactly what you said. We'll select a few, but I've picked up a lot of stuff from everybody. So no, not playing any favorites here, just kind of some favorite albums.
Not at all. And we decided if one of us does mention the same VCer, we'll kind of both jump in out of our order and really embarrass that person. Okay.
That's right. Okay, well, I'll start out. I'm going to start out with a guy, I think he's out of Kentucky. You probably know who I'm talking about, just saying that. Mr. David Newton. And he makes great videos, great advocate for the VC, always showing stuff. But anyways, he did a special on, and I'm not pulling this out of the shrink for you here, on the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club about 2 months ago. I think he went through their whole discography, and I was aware of them at the time, but I don't think I had anything of theirs. So since then, I've jumped in. I have this one, which is the BRMC. It's called BRMC, and I got a couple CDs of I think their third and fourth albums. That I picked up over at Sonic Boom in Ballard there, but great stuff. Kind of standard rock and roll with a little bit of psych, and I know you love that word, psych influences.
I like to beat a dead horse, psych. It's funny you say that because I remember that video, and I think David and I had a little back and forth. Maybe it was comments, I forgot where. I have to get those because they're from the Bay Area. They're from San Francisco. And I just never, I heard their name. I just never got into them. And I remember mentioning that when he did that, I'm going to jump in, and I just totally let it lapse. So now you're going to get me into it. So I have to do another video with someone else, and including you. This is kind of like that Pink Floyd cover where Uma Guma, where they keep going in.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get at. Never mind.
No, it's good stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm going back to someone who doesn't do videos on his own anymore, and I forgot the name of his channel, but his name was Teddy. And I don't know if it's before your time. You're in the last year, right?
Yeah, just kind of January of this year.
I've only been 2.5 years, so I'm not that much longer, but I was watching. Teddy was a very professorial, easygoing. The way he described records, it was like selling you ice cream, which is not hard to do. And he now has a job either with Music Direct or Analog Productions, and will showcase those videos. When they did a Muddy Waters video recently that they put out on Analog Productions, he talks about them. And he's really just direct with his descriptions. In 2018, his favorite album of the year was this album. And the woman's name is Myra Melford, and it's Snowy Egret, which is her trio. Jazz piano player. I think she teaches at UC Berkeley or is at Berkeley. Jazz with some classical overtones. He played some of this record, and the way he talked about this record, again, it was like vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream. It was so enticing to me, and I listened to some of it, and I bought it through Bandcamp, through her site. I don't know if it's her own label or whatever. It's a double beautiful album, kind of artsy, painter.
What year did that come out? Do you know?
It came out 2018.
Oh, okay.
His number out of when they did the top 10.
Oh, you're right. That's right.
On the VC. It's okay. I don't pay attention to people either. So no, but when I heard this, I just I got it. And I've been playing this ever since. I bought another album of hers earlier through Bandcamp. But this album, whenever I put it on, I always forget how beautiful it is. And it's a little off center, but it's not out there by any stretch of the imagination. If it's a good Sunday morning record. It's got guitar, bass, drums. Actually, it's not a trio. I'm sorry, it's a quintet. Piano, drums, bass, guitar, and cornet. And it's really a gorgeous record. But Teddy, who's not doing video on his own, he works again for, someone's going to correct me, Analog Productions or Music Direct, the retailer out of Salina, Kansas, that some people buy gear and records from. Really pretty record, but got some balls to it.
Nice. Okay. All right, my next one. Oops, I'm going to set that aside. This is something I found from my buddy out of Maine there, Brian at Shamrock Records. And I think this was through one of the tags where you had to pick somebody from your home state. And this is Patty Griffin, who is out of Maine. And in fact, when I started researching her a little more, she's out of Old Town, Maine, which is where my mom graduated from high school. So same town as my mother. My parents moved out here my mom was from Maine, my dad was from Massachusetts, and moved out here in 1964. But anyways, a town that my mom grew up. Anyways, she kind of folky, kind of country, but beautiful voice, just a beautiful record. Good stuff. And
is she the one who's in Austin that was for a while living with Robert Plant?
No, that's you're thinking
another
of.
Singing woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone's going to write it in the comments, whatever.
Yeah.
I know Patty Griffin. I just don't have any of her music.
Yeah. I don't know if she has a lot of stuff out. And I'm trying to see what
she's
year.
She's been around a long time. Yeah.
2016. Yeah. She's up there in age right now. But this is her 2016 album.
Some of us are up there in age as well. So.
Some of us are. She's our age. Yes.
I got you by a few years there, but by a decade. That's it.
But no, really enjoy that. Really enjoy Brian's channel. Brian is super knowledgeable. I haven't seen him put out a video in a while. So
he said I got an inbox or a comment on one of my videos. He's pulling back only a little bit because it's summertime now out there, and people are we've been so cramped up here. He's getting out to the beaches and getting out. I love his energy. In fact, Brian, if you're watching this, when you're ready to come back in the fall, let's do a joint, because I love, I did one with his cohort, Jonathan, who's also Gilbert, who's out Cheap and Cheerful. They both are.
Yeah.
They're both in Maine, and they do like some of their record buys together. But I love his energy, his Irish energy.
Right.
Yeah.
And in fact, if he's watching, I'm going to probably, unless something gets canceled that I'm planning on doing, I'm going to be over there in about a little over a month, early September. So I'm coming for you, Brian. And Cheap and Cheerful.
Sorry, I didn't pick a Brian record, but so far we're batting out. Now, one of the channel. It's funny. I find that even though I watched a lot of the I shouldn't say normal channels, the standard rock and roll channels, this is going to sound so bad. Sometimes I gravitate to people who are doing things that I've either never heard of or even music I don't like. I'm not a big heavy metal person, but there is a channel that I'm going to mention later because I just love watching him. And I have no idea what he's talking about. But this is not that person. This is Dave, local bandography, and in North Carolina. And there was a little click for a while that I was going back and forth with Dave and my biggest fan. We can always joke about that. Oh, come on. He's going to beat me now. John, Digital Gramophone.
Yes,
who stole my voice for Digital Gramophone. Makes no sense. But David Local Bandography, does a lot of out there jazz, like interesting stuff. And one of his favorite #1 album last year, 2019, was Enrique Monofusco. This album. Apparently, this guy is from Spain. It's hard to get this record. I had to literally order it from Spain from a retailer there. I've probably played this record almost more than any other record since I got it 6-8 months ago. No, more than that. Probably last September, give or take. So, coming on to a year almost. It's got this majestic. I mean, first of all, the cover is so heroic, really beautiful. Apparently, he was in a Spanish punk band, and a lot of these these albums and these bands that Dave knows about and gets from Europe, and especially in Spain, are pretty awesome. But he played this, and I went to listen to it, and I'm amazed. It's nothing like rock and roll, nothing like punk at all. Very Spanish sounding. It's obviously all sung in Spanish, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous record. And I kind of want to go back and hear the other stuff that his band did. But the other one of Dave, which I showed too, because Dave does show a lot of sort of Middle Eastern and in a way like Sherb, which I'll get to a little later, Julius Jabbar. But one that I totally missed before was this record. And this is M. Jabbar. I can't even pronounce it very much. This came out earlier this year, I guess. Was it last year? And this is beautiful. And Warren Ellis is on it as well from Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. They've been putting album out for a long time, and for some reason I missed the boat completely on this band.
Not familiar with them either.
Middle Eastern, gorgeous music, non-English, obviously. I forgot what African country they're from. Is it Somali or? Anyway, it's really a beautiful record. A lot of guitars.
Guitar based. Yeah.
Yeah, in a way like Ali Farka Touré, if you know his work, or not that. I mean, I hate to put that in the same vein. It sounds like all this music sounds alike, and it doesn't. But Dave, I'm kissing your ass, Dave. Local Bandography has turned me on. I tell you, Dave, you might have turned me on to more music than anyone else on the vinyl community. There's a couple others I didn't pull, but
yeah, he has a wide range.
He does, and he's just never looks excited, Dave.
No, that's what I mean. You're gonna
I'm gonna do my impression of you. No, I can't do it now. Dave, by the way, you're getting something in the mail from me. It's in the mail now. Keep an eye out. So, Local Bandography, Dave.
Cool. Okay. Next on my list. This will be interesting. Got to give a female shout out. So our friend, your friend and mine up in, I believe Toronto, somewhere in Canada. So a Canada shout out and a female shout out. But the Vinyl Guru, she had this a couple months ago.
Wonderful. It's wonderful. It's crazy. She doesn't talk like that. Come on, I'm just playing around.
So Black Pistol Fire. Black Pistol Fire. I think they're out of her Toronto, but then they moved down to Austin, which I think really fits their style. It's just a guy and a guitar and a drummer, from what I can tell. Yeah, but the guy plays bluesy guitar riffs like great. I mean, just amazing. And
can you tip it down so I can see the name again a little bit? Yeah, just a lot. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, okay. Black Pistol Fire. And this is called Deadbeat Graffiti. And let's see, this is like their 5th album. It's kind of hard to get their stuff on vinyl, but real good blues rock, garage rock.
Wow.
Really enjoy this one. It's about the only thing I've been able to get of theirs. And this, I think, is their latest one. I didn't put the year on this, but I think it was 2018.
Where'd you order that
around.
from? Do you remember?
I think it was on Discogs.
Oh, okay. That's been the interesting challenge because of the pandemic and the shutdown. Just talking about local. I say I admire the retailers that have good, easy buying technology. And for me, the best one around here, not even in Seattle, it's been High Voltage. They got it, especially if you're into new releases. You can do it between on there through Instagram, everything else, and you just kind of click and buy, and you can either save an account and PayPal. It's so friggin' easy. And being local, I usually get it the next day or 2 days at the most. And I find a store that I used to go to all the time until the friggin' West Seattle Bridge closed down was Easy Street. And I love Easy Street. And twice I tried to order things.
Yeah.
And it was, you search an artist and you get, 20,000 possibilities because it's digital. I can't just see what's in their store. Maybe I'm missing something, but even that Ingrooves in Phoenix, Arizona is a really great way to buy music. And, aside from, obviously the big resellers, if you're trying to get to a local shop. So that's been an issue lately for me.
No, I tried Easy Street during the height, and I just got frustrated and dropped out.
That's too bad because it's such a great store, and I like that stuff. Okay, this is a little bit of a cheating only because these two members don't have channels, and they're not even members. One is but one has been a guest on my show many times, and that's my friend Amanda, the archivist, and her and a mutual friend that I had known maybe 15 years, I don't know him really well, visited, and we did a whack-a-mole. His name is Zach, who lives in Los Angeles, and who's a musician and in a band. And he came, we did a triple whack-a-mole. And there's this band that's like the obvious band. Everyone out there is going to say, Maslov, where the fuck were you? And he started talking about dots and loops. And of course, dots and loops, we know there's a channel dots. Our friend whose VC channels dots and loops. I never made the connection. I never was into Stereolab until they came visiting, and Zach during my video, during our whack-a-mole, started talking about he found this original copy. Then Amanda gave me all these digital downloads or digital copies she had, and I listened. I just fell in love, and I know in the last 2 to 3 years they've been issuing this huge reissue program. I got like 7 of them in the last 4 months. I just went down that rabbit hole, and I think most of you know it. If you don't know, their stuff is a little bit of French pop, loungy, bachelor pad, electronic, modern, sometimes dancey, but sometimes not, sometimes psychedelic. But it's got that female French voice and very European without being over the top disco, not at all. But these
Which one is that?
This is Sound Dust, it's called. And I don't even know what order these came in. I don't know, but these are beautiful collections. They're either two or three LP sets. So the other, and I don't know the originals well enough, but the second or third LP has outtakes and alternative versions and mixes, and they're just gorgeous. And I mean, they're about $35 or tops to 40. But for a 2 to 3 LP set, I think they're pretty good. They sound really good. I mean, they're from the tapes, but I don't know if it's all done analog. It doesn't really matter to me in this case because at that period of time. But they're gorgeous, and I want to get these. I don't know how long they're going to last, so I'm jumping on them. And they come with these download cards and really heavy, those kind of flapped, things. But anyway, Amanda and Zach, thank you for that. A little off the normal VC channel thing, but I get a lot of people requesting that Amanda, the archivist, comes back. They love. I mean, I hate to say it, they want another woman here. We like the women. There's too many friggin' men here, and we like to get a mix of people and tastes and everything. And Amanda, when she's on there, my video viewership goes up, which is
really?
Too bad it's like that, but it's just the way it is. I don't want to. I mean, there's.
Well, I think that's part of it, and part of it they just want to see somebody else other than my ugly face every time. They want to see somebody, anybody else.
I miss having guests. I mean, like if this
Yeah.
pandemic ever ends, you got to come down. We got to do a whack-a-mole because I love having people. I mean, we'll meet at some point. I think. You know,
That's right.
I'll get out of here.
course
You guys, you know, we'll figure it out. So
Once you get out of the bunker there.
oh God, you tell me.
No,
that.
but Sam's a big advocate of those guys too. He shows them every once in a while. Do you have a favorite of the ones you've bought so far?
You know, Dots and Loops is an obvious favorite just because it seems to hit the right notes. That it's not too dancey. It's not too. It depends what you like. Like I like bachelor pad stuff. I like that there was that you know sort of retro thing in the early '90s when I was buying a lot of CDs. Remember all those bachelor pad CDs and the Quiet, you know, all the Martin Denny stuff, Jackie Gleason, all that stuff was reissued, and Capitol did great collections of, you know, bongo music and the Enoch Light, ping pong, left and right stuff. I think Dots and Loops, if you don't have one, I'd say get Dots and Loops. The other ones I don't know them well enough to suggest, although every time I put a different one on, I just love it for a different reason. Even though they're different directions, you really can tell who they are. And if you like that kind of, I mean, you know, I think you'd like it based on.
I have a few of the original ones, and I guess they haven't totally struck a chord with me. That's why I'll check out that one and see.
And I get that. I just for some reason I never listened to them when I'd see their records all the time. I thought they were more electronica, which I like some electronica stuff, and you know I go into the DJ Crush and some of those kind of things and some far out stuff. But for some reason I thought they were just all dancey stuff like that. And I'm not against that, but I just usually like that in a certain club atmosphere, but maybe I don't put it on at home. You know,
okay. I
don't know.
All right. My next one. So this is a guy, I shout him out quite a bit. He's still under 100 subs, but super knowledgeable guy. Doesn't show his face. Patthemusichead. And he's really, I mean, to me, I've kind of watched him enough. I know he's really into to me, it seems like 4 categories in it. He's really knowledgeable at reggae, jazz. I'm skipping one. Hip hop, and then like modern day psych, stoner / psych / stoner rock, whatever they call it. But anyways, so one of them is this band on the jazz side that he actually sent me some stuff on. It's called Macrosoft, and these guys are out of the Seattle area. This one's kind of got a hip hop. Some of the beats on this one are a little more hip hop, but it's more jazz. When you get into the other stuff, in fact, I'll hold this up. This is the one he sent me, this CD, but very kind of jazz oriented. I can't find a whole lot of information on these guys, but they do say they're out of Seattle. I think this was recorded on Mercer Island or something.
Shishi, how's Shishi?
Shishi.
No, music isn't Mercer Island's kind of like upscale, right? A little kind of Shishi, like
a little bit Shishi. But that's where you'd expect jazz to come from, right?
Oh, right.
But yeah, I think categories maybe as jazz fusion. I don't know that much about jazz, but really interesting stuff. And then let me just one other thing in the other category is, and I've shown this a few times too. They're called Weedpecker. It's a kind of a modern psych band out of these guys are out of Poland. A little bit hard to get a hold of their stuff on vinyl also, but
it's a beautiful cover. God.
Yeah, their artwork is great, and the music just real jammy and guitar driven, good stuff. But you know, check out Pat, really knowledgeable in those areas.
I do subscribe to him. I haven't seen a lot of his videos, but I do. I try to subscribe to everyone, and you get in these ruts, or not these ruts, but these little patterns of certain things that you always watch right away, and some I put on the hiatus, and when I'm ready to go to bed, you know, I might put my iPad on, and that sounds bad because I'm like I'm gonna fall asleep to your videos, but you know, there's certain things that are maybe longer that it's a good way to watch them, for me at least. You know? Yeah. Now the next one, I think I got this right, but in the back of my mind, I think I might have mixed up. But another one of those channels who shows offbeat kilter stuff, and I just mean offbeat compared to, you know, the latest Beck album or with that kind of stuff. But a lot of jazz, a lot of electronic, a lot of experimental is Alex, Motorick 247. And he's in Southern California. He's got a really nice presentation, real low key, serious guy. Did a contest. I entered maybe my first year on a 10 jazz albums. I forgot exactly what the theme was, but he turned me onto this record. And I think he did. A few people, this was last year, 2019. This is Sarathe Korwar. It's called More Arriving, his second album. He's an Indian percussion jazz orchestral band leader. There's some hip hop rap stuff on this in an Asian way, in an Indian way. It's got some, you know, world international beats to it. Again, I've been getting into a lot of, you know, from the Indian music to, I've always been an Indian fan on traditional India, classical India, like Ravi Shankar and sitar. I love that stuff. That goes back, and I've showed that in my videos to, you know, from the Beatle days, getting me into that stuff. But I think two or three people turned this on at the time, and I think it was Alex. If I apologize if it wasn't, I know I bought things that Alex has shown, so I think this is the one. This is recorded in Mumbai, and it's just really it's got great rhythms, but with some modern flourishes. I know I say that a lot, but it's just a cool record. Somewhat political, obviously.
And is the band out of India or just recorded there?
No, you know, well, he is. It's got these guys from New Delhi and different. I don't know if all the artists are, and I think it's one of those guys like DJs and leaders that works with different musicians on projects. So I don't know if he actually has a working band that he always works with, and I probably should have researched that. I just don't know, but you know, he brought it together for this project, and you know, that's the thing that the kids are into these days. The kids are into projects. Everybody's got a fucking project.
Yeah.
You have a band, and then you have this project and that project. So,
yeah.
Anyway, Motorick 247, Alex.
Oh, yeah. I'm not familiar with his channel either. So
you know what I should do? If you help me, if you feel like it, if you send me an email with the channel links to all your people, I'll put them on and I'll put them below.
Okay. Is
that hard to do by tomorrow morning?
I don't think so. You got to write it down.
People can find it. People can find it. Come on, do some research. That's what the Google's about. Just search.
Put it on pause. Put it on pause. Yeah. Okay, I'm next. So this one, you've already mentioned this person's name, but your biggest fan,
John.
Your biggest fan, John, at the Digital Gramophone, and I want to give a shout out to Elliot at Lazy Dog. He chimes in on this one also, but you've seen this one, right, from him?
I have seen it. I've never heard it, but I've seen them show it.
Sarah Shook and the Disarmers, Sidelong, and I think she's had another album since this one that came out 2017. This came out, and then she has another one in 2019, I believe. But kind of country punk, and it's not cow punk type stuff. I'd say it's more country with an edge, and it's really, really interesting stuff. And I think she said, you know how most country singers, they might have an accent when you're talking to them, or foreign, but when they sing, you don't recognize, but you actually hear kind of a Southern accent coming through when she's singing, and it's not boring country stuff. It's upbeat. It's interesting stuff.
Beautiful. Yeah, I purposely didn't want to show anything from John because I didn't want it to go to his head. His head is getting so fucking big already.
His head's getting so big because he's selling records.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Christ, man. You know, if I see another video, what's that guy from the Unborn Truckers or the Drive-By Truckers?
Drive-By Truckers. Jason
If I see another fucking video he does on that band or that guy, what's his name? He sent me that. Oh, he did send me that record, but I didn't buy it. He sent it to me.
Oh no,
I'm kidding.
that's not bad. That's
No,
not bad.
it's wonderful. It's totally wonderful. It's you know, we can't. It's you got to have a sense of humor doing this because some people get so
Yeah,
serious, right?
yeah.
Some of the comments I get once in a while is like, "Really, you're taking that seriously?" Anyway, especially with my shit. So, okay, I'm going across the pond now to the United Kingdom. Someone that I don't think a lot of people that aren't British know about, that at least that I've heard talk about. He's taking a little break because he's moving. I think maybe he was in Wales for a while. I don't know if he's anyway. His name is Steve, and it's Psych in the Valley, not psychedelic in the valley, but Psych in the Valley. And
I like that better.
Yeah, I know you would. Psych in the Valley, Steve. He's on a brief. Hopefully, it's brief because I really like watching his videos. He usually shows a lot of late or 60s and 70s English folk rock, like, you know, Fairport Convention, all the offshoots of that, Sandy Denny and all that kind of stuff. Although it does show a lot of other things like reggae and things like that. And that's what I'm going to show. He just showed this in one of his more recent videos before he took a break. And he showed this record, Congo Natty, Jungle Revolution. And I'd never heard of this guy. He's been around. He's kind of like a DJ, hip hop artist. He's part of the jungle movement of reggae that's got a real beat to it with other rappers. And I mean, this is a party record, and it's really upbeat. And this is 2 LPs, and of course, it's on Big Data. And I forgot where I ordered it from. But the way he was describing and the way he was playing with it and knowing this is where it's interesting when you watch somebody's channel. Sometimes somebody shows a record totally out of the box of what you know that they usually show. And if you like the other stuff, it makes you, like, you know, my ears perk up a little bit, because if I'm showing another Beatle record, you know, all the time, or whatever, I show all the same things over and over again. If I show something out of my box, someone will say, "Wait, that's unusual for him to show that." There's certain people that kind of have a narrower path with what they show, and all of a sudden they bring something out. I love this record, but he also said, by the way, at the tail end of his presentation, he goes, "Oh, by the way, there's a dub version." So of course I had to order the dub version at the same time. So he got me twice. This is a single LP. It has sort of revolution dub, and those of you who know reggae know dub versions are usually semi-instrumental versions of the same, sometimes with DJs talking over and doing their little bits, and I'm not going to get into the whole description of that. Mm-hmm. But these are really cool records. I mean, I just love
it looks good.
The covers are so cool, right?
Yeah. And I, you know, because of Pat, I've been getting into more, you know, before it was Bob Marley and that's it. So I've been picking up on more reggae stuff, and there's some really good
this
stuff
goes in a
out there.
different thing. Of course, then I had to research more. I mean, I'd heard about jungle music, but I really didn't know a lot about it. So I had to, like, you know, read the whole thing on what jungle is and all this dance and the club scenes and that whole, I mean, I'm not going to explain it here. You all can look it up, but I didn't really know much about it. So that's been a great education, having people. And no offense to Steve, he seemed like the most unlikely person to turn me on to what I know of him, to turn me on. Like, I would think Motorick would turn me on to this, or even Dave, Local Bandography, a little bit, you know. But that's what's great about the vinyl community, and having people turn you on to things that you don't expect. So.
Exactly. Cool. All right, where am I at here? Okay, this is, I wanted to give a shout out to Hannah, the Omaha introvert.
I'm gonna do.
Of course.
Okay, that was my next.
We finally found one in common, huh? So you're saying the Posies? They're from Seattle. Of course, you know who they are. And it's like, well, you know, a little bit of the story. You know, the Posies broke right in the early '90s, right about the same time as a lot of the grunge scene. And so first it was the Young Fresh Fellows, and then the grunge scene came on, and these guys came on, but you weren't cool if you were listening, because this is more poppy, right? And I was in the big grunge crowd, going to Soundgarden shows, going to Mudhoney shows, going to Nirvana and Alice in Chains shows. And these guys were always playing, but I very rarely paid attention to them because they were so poppy. So I was really surprised she started showing them. So I started diving back into their discography and listening to them. So this is Deer 23 right here, one of the drums.
Nice. I know. Yeah, I know. I have a CD. I forget which CD I have of theirs. I don't have any vinyl though. I need to kind of see now. These kind of videos remind you of the things you're missing. That, oh my God, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see them at Seattle, the record shows. If we ever have record shows that come back in Seattle, but you see them every once in a while.
You go to the record shows here?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, if they ever start again, we should, because I go to the one up in Lake City. Lake City, and I'm still getting my. Yeah, okay, you'll love this story, and I'm sorry, I'm going to sort of digress because when I first moved here, do you know QFC supermarkets?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they have a deli, and in the deli they have these pre-made sandwiches you can order custom, and they have them. They call the sandwiches. They use these boarhead meats and cheeses and stuff.
Right.
And the sandwiches are named after regions, which I didn't know all the regions. So I'm in line, and there's this woman there who served me, in the deli to make a sandwich. And I said, I'll have, and I pointed to this one sandwich, and she had a thick Filipino accent, and I said, I'll have a samamich. And she goes, which one? I said, I'll have a samamich. And two people were standing behind me, and oh no, I'll have a samamich. I think I said samamich. It's samamich, right? The name.
Samamich, yeah.
Right. I fucked up the story. But I said it wrong. I said, I'll have a samamich. And she goes, which one? So she thought I was saying, which sandwich? And I was saying samamich. And it was and the name of the sandwich is called the samamich. Forget it. You get the gist of what I'm trying to say.
Well, you said hoquiam properly earlier. That's the one that people really have a hard time with. Hoquiam. Didn't you say hoquiam that's where you go to the farm up there? Or the
Oh, no. Hansville.
Hansville, okay.
Hansville near.
It's up by Hoquiam.
Near Polsbo. But anyways, it's near Polsbo. Anyway.
Oh, okay. So a little bit farther north of that.
People talk about Hannah again, but last year Hannah was staying up here in the area, and hanging out with Bo. Bo, gave her a room, and they were hanging, and so they went to a lot of the record shows. And I actually met them at two of the record shows briefly, and I sent a package to both Bo and Hannah, and they sent me a package eventually, and so I didn't buy it because of Hannah and Bo. And I think this was I'm going to thank them both, Bo and Hannah, Omaha Introvert, and what's Bo's channel?
Digging the.
Sorry, Bo. I know your name. I just blanked. I'm an old man. I just blanked out on the name. We'll get it before that. But Bo has some great taste in like psychedelic stuff and garage and lunch boxes. He's really into lunch pails and lunch boxes. And I hope he does more videos. He's taking a little break, I think. Hannah's back now, which is great. But I think Hannah picked this one, but sent me a package. And this is Best Coast. And I never had this. I used to see this all the time. They have a really great, I don't want to say new wave sound. There's all these names, whether it's math rock and college rock, and I kind of missed the boat on all these friggin' sub pop. I don't mean sub pop the label, but sub genre names of everything. Whether it's Paisley Underground and all, really sweet record, really kind of easy, but in a beautiful way. Easy psychedelic stuff. But I want to thank Hannah for this one. So we phoned both the Omaha Introvert. Thank you, Hannah. And I'm sorry that I probably named the wrong subgenre that this record is. This is 2010, so it's 10 years old now.
Yeah, I've heard the name. I don't think I have any of their stuff, so I need to dive into it.
It's a good record, really good record. But that's what's great when someone turns you on to something that I remember seeing this stores all the time. It's just one that I just never really grabbed or knew about. So
yeah.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yes. And we're glad you're back.
Yes.
Okay. This one, I think, again, this is one I think I first saw through Steve Carlson, but I know a ton of people have shown up, but I mostly wanted to give Steve a shout out. I mean, Steve's been through a lot this year and just amazingly come back. I don't think I'd still be able to do videos if I lost all my records. But I know he probably doesn't want any more sympathy, but I want to give him a shout out because of his dinner. He filmed his dinner scene there in somewhere in the middle of Ohio while he was doing a video and answering questions. Amazing stuff. But anyways, this is a great record. If you saw my top 20 or whatever.
I showed that record when it came out too. I love that record.
Yeah, it's a great record. I'm so mad I had tickets to see these guys. And
I did too.
At the Croc.
Tractor.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, the Croc.
There.
Yeah. That would have been great.
Yeah.
But anyways, great record. Shout out to Steve. Great channel. Everybody knows Steve.
Yeah, that's Phil Alvin from the Blasters with who's the main guy putting that together. Oh wait,
I'm holding out the wrong
yeah.
way. Yeah.
It's Phil Alvin from the Blasters, one of the Alvin.
Dave Alvin.
Dave Alvin, I'm sorry. And the woman Jessie Sykes from Jessie Sykes and Sweet Hereafter, who I love. I'm a big fan of sort of that psychedelic, Grace Slicky kind of eerie, ethereal stuff that she was doing. And they do that they do East West from the Paul Butterfield Blues Band on there.
Yes.
And they do Morning Dew, which everyone's covered, including the Grateful Dead. I love that record. That's
we'll have to ask Emma what version she prefers. Paul Butterfield or this one.
Well, I mean, you got to love the Paul Butterfield just because Mike Bloomfield. I'm a big fan of that record, and I bought that record. I mean, I was in San Francisco. I think that was the last time I was at Amoeba. I think that was January that came out, or early. It was this year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this was February, I believe.
Oh, February. Okay, it was the last time I was in San Francisco, and I picked that up there. I just loved it. I mean, okay, I'm going with, I don't know if you guys know Paul, who he hasn't been around again, but Baraka P Dub.
Oh, yeah.
I love Paul's channel, and I like Paul because, I mean, he's the guy, he works for NASA. Come on, how cool is that? He's like, and every time when he sent people, I got a package from a while back, and it had these patches from NASA of the anniversary of the moonwalk or some Apollo program, and he has a lot of videos he's done on turntable setups and audiophile, Music Matters, jazz, and other stuff. But also sometimes he surprises me. And I bought a few records from him, and I think one of these is I got from him. I might be getting it wrong, but at least when we did our joint video, he told me there was a volume 2 coming out, so I know he told me to buy it. But sometimes I tease him because he gets these records and it's all this French pop and Italian like disco shit. And I kind of joke about that, but this record I got, and this is a Light in the Attic, and this is a Pacific Breeze, Japanese city pop, AOR, and boogie. So it's 1976 to 86, so it's got some dance pop, disco-y stuff, a double record, gorgeous cover. And then he turned me on to, and I had to buy volume. If you buy volume 1, you got to fucking buy volume 2. And Light in the Attic is actually a label up here that's in Seattle. Does these great reissue things.
Yeah.
And they have a nice little kind of pop-up store in the KEXP new building there.
Oh, they do?
I don't know if it's still, well, I don't know if it's open now because of what's going on. Their new place is amazing. It's got a cafe there, beautiful Italian espresso cafe, and it's almost like going to study hall in college, and you can look through the radio station. You can have you can sign up for tours of the station. Occasionally have live shows. I did see a live, they have this small studio where they videotape for their broadcasts, and only like 20 or 25 people can watch through the glass, with not in the main part, but you have to sign up ahead of time. And I saw Dream Syndicate the night they were playing at the Tractor, and I saw them twice that day. It was so good. But anyway, Paul Baraka P Dub, Pacific Breeze. This is 1972 to 86. This is 76 to 86. Really great kind of Japanese pop, boogie type collections. And I trust his taste a lot. Sometimes, you know, he likes things, well, he likes obviously audiophile stuff, but he's not a snooty audiophile provocateur, I guess you'd call it. But he's been taking a break because he's been so busy with like launching shit in space or something. I don't know what.
Well, he makes great videos too. He puts
makes
something into his
he
videos.
makes
Yeah.
great videos. They're fun. They're smart. And we kind of bonded a little bit too because he worked in the Soviet Union or in Russia for a while with satellite things when they had international space stations and stuff. You got to watch his stuff. But when he comes back big time. But he used to make a lot of videos, and now I think he's just overwhelmed. Plus, he's got a young family, or so. And of course, he apparently lost a lot of his hard drive died of all the stuff, parts and pieces he keeps. So I don't know. Anyway. So, hi, Paul.
Interesting. Okay. Next. So shout out to Eric Weinbender. That was the first time I saw this album. I know I saw Eric put something out today. He hadn't put something out for a while, so glad
I haven't seen that yet. Okay.
He's back.
Good.
But I first saw him show this. I saw it in a used bin somewhere. I picked it up. It's a great album. The OC's Face Stabber. It's their 2019 release. But I know just within the last week, I think Eric from Plastic Soundwave Cult also showed this. But
I need to check that out because that's another band that my friend Amanda, the archivist, turned me on to, and she gave me having my hard drives. But it's funny, as much as I have that stuff, sometimes when I used to drive in my car and put it on my phone, since I'm not driving it, I don't really listen to that stuff anymore. So if it's not on a record or even a CD, I don't listen to it a lot.
Yeah, this has got a lot of energy. This is a good pick you up and get you going kind of album. Fun stuff, kind of little psyche, kind of garagey, kind of rocking.
Are they Bay Area too? Do you know? I don't remember.
Yes.
That. Yeah.
Yes, they are Bay Area. They are Bay Area.
What year was that?
But then they recently moved to LA. 2019. This is their latest one. 2019.
Yeah.
And I think it's some of their better stuff. They've got
I missed a lot of that because I was raising my son.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I have 2 kids and.
Yeah, my son's now actually just about to be 30. Just moved to Portland, so there you go.
A good city to move to.
Yeah. Finally, that the Nazi police force is leaving. So, okay. Now the next one, I'm blanking on his first name now. And I think these are the ones. They might not be the exact records, but it's in the same thing. I mentioned earlier that. Every once in a while, there's certain channels I watch, and I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. They're talking about, and I don't really get into 9/10 of the music they show. But there's a channel, the Metal Theologian, and he's been around a long time. I think he's back in North Carolina, South Carolina now, or out there somewhere. He used to be in the Bay Area or Southern California. He's been around. Anyway, when I first got attracted to him, when I first was getting into these videos, I'd watch him because he'd be sitting around. He's really into heavy metal, and a lot of this metal that I had known nothing about, like Russian metal bands, South American bands from some, these weird like little pocket countries that have these metal bands, like whether it's Brazil or just all over the place. And he shows his record. He has his records blasting. He's sitting around with like a little TV in the background showing some anime just on without the sound off. And he's sitting around just vaping and walking around his place and showing the stuff. And I'm fascinated by it. And my half brother came and visited, and we watched 2 or 3 videos in a row, and it was hysterical. Not that he's like outright funny, but he just sits around. He's talking about this fucking record. This is a piece of shit, but I like this because, there's something about presentation that you can like. Anyway, he does get into some avant-garde out there jazz, and an artist that I've had a couple records for, and this is another one, I could talk that Sherv, at Julius Jabbar, and Local Bandography would have turned me on to too, but I know he did at some point, and that's Sun Ra. And Sun Ra's stuff, the orchestra, Sun Ra's stuff can be very loungy, and it can be very out there, like manic, weird shit. Space, jazz, just weird stuff. Some of his stuff is more commercial than others, and I don't remember which one's which they actually had singles in the 50s and 60s, and the orchestra is still going on. Obviously, he's long gone, dead, but he used to wear these. I mean, he was kind of like a predecessor of George Clinton, and wearing these space suits and futuristic
Oh yeah.
Parliament funkadelic, but in this out there jazz with these a bunch of different musicians that would come and go within the group and stuff. But anyway, the Metal Theologian would play some Sun Ra stuff. Again, I don't remember if these are the specific ones, but I'm using these as representation. This
Right.
one's Sun Ra Sun Song on the Delmark label. This is a reissue, and this came out. I don't even know when it fucking came out. But anyway, Sun Ra, the Metal Theologian, and I just blanked out on your first name, but you're not watching me anyway, so fuck it.
I've heard a lot of people mention his channel. I haven't dove into that
if
yet.
you're in a
But
mood, that's the kind of thing you put on at night, and you'll either dig it or you won't. And sometimes his son shoots him, and he's always like the very beginning. A lot of times, you know, how a lot of VC members will like pop open a beer or a drink or a cocktail. I haven't done it in a long time because I'm in a hiatus based because of this medical thing I have. Drinks will come back soon, but he always pops like some weird. Almost like hipster soft drink with these flavors of guava. It's probably like, you know, $6 a bottle for something made in Maine or you know, what's that place called, Walla Walla, you know, where the wine country or whatever, and it's some hipster mix of soft drink, and he's always starting that, and he starts tasting it, then he hands it off camera, his son has a sip, and they kind of, anyway. It's an acquired taste.
Entertaining. Yeah. I can see it. How are we doing for time?
I don't know. Just keep
going. All right. Here's another one.
I think I have 3 more.
One of my favorites in the VC. Sam, the Vinyl Douche, of course. Again, another band from Seattle area that, of course, I've always been familiar, but he did a big show on Beat Happenings box set, and I realized I didn't even have any of their stuff. So
I don't either. I saw that video. That was a good video.
I started diving into it once he started diving into that box set. But really interesting. And then I dove into Calvin Johnson, and I didn't know that much about him and K Records, but really an interesting guy and an interesting history. And anyways. Shout out to Sam.
I like Sam, the Vinyl Douche. I like Sam a lot, and he likes a lot of female bands. And I have one here. I think he turned me onto this, and I might be losing.
Yeah.
He was one of mine, and it's this album. I think they're Southern California. They're like a power punk band in a way. All 3 women. This came out, is it this year?
What are they called?
It's called Silhouettes, Shadow Show. It looks like really kind of a low-key production, you know, cheap-ass record cover or anything, but it's not. But he played some of it, and I really liked it. It's very catchy. It's not like the Go-Go's. It's more punky, but it's got that. Oh, like I know you showed a band that you like and I like. I think you showed, and actually Sam showed it. Seattle band is Taco Cat.
Yeah,
and I'm a fan. I saw Taco
punky.
Cat
Yeah,
3 times here, and they're fun live. They're just a blast to see live. They're just really upbeat, sparkly, and I've got 2 of their albums, you know, and they're not unlike that. But I think it was Sam that turned me onto this. If you're watching, Mr. Douche, please tell me that you did in fact show this record.
I'm a little worried he's homeless because he's doing videos on the side of the road. So if you're homeless, Sam, hit me up. I got a place for you to stay.
Yeah, I love that because I was saying, God, it looks so beautiful now. I was waiting for Walter White to pull over and his, you know, mix some meth in his Winnebago.
Okay, let's see here. All right. Oh, I got 2 things from this guy, but I'm gonna go with this because he shows this all the time. Or not all the time, I shouldn't say that. He shows it quite a bit, but your friend and mine, Cosmic Brian, who has a very entertaining station or channel.
I love you, Brian.
And anyways, he shows this quite a bit, especially when it comes to things that he wishes would come out on vinyl. But Tripping Daisies, I actually only got this a couple days ago, so I'm slowly getting into it, getting used to it. Play it in my car, but Tripping Daisies, and this is Elastic Fire. I am an Elastic Firecracker.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got 2 more artists to go, or 2 more VC members to go. Next one is fairly new to me, but we already did it. It was the first time that I did a joint video with a virgin, and I mean that because it's someone who was brand new, pretty much brand new to the vinyl community. And this is Michael in Germany, 45 RPM, 45 RPM, not archivist, not analog. What do you call the
archive?
No, the records that are expensive. Audiophile. Sorry, I actually asked him, requested. I hate to say this. I said, you got to add audiophile to your name because he just 45 RPM. I thought you were going to show 45s, but a lot of audiophile are 45 speed. Not all of them. Mm-hmm. He's in Germany. He's in Dusseldorf, I believe, and he shows things like mobile fidelity, music matters, jazz. He comes from a different take. He talks about the music, but it's about the pressings and why they're what they do in the pressings, why they cost what they cost. He's got us, and he does it in a so non-pretentious way. Although he's German, so there's that. No, I'm kidding. But he's a really good guy. We did a video together. We've changed a few messages, but I dipped my toe into audiophile Mark with some MoFi. I've done a couple of videos on that. I think that's how we met because he responded to my MoFi mobile fidelity video, and I'm into Music Matters Jazz. But he turned me on. He did one recently, or in the last few weeks, on Sam Records. Sam Records is a French label, one-man shop, all audiophile. Some of the stuff is crazy expensive. Some of it's normal, like I say normal-ish, like $35, and that's not crazy for an audiophile. Mm-hmm. You know, limited presses. He does these French editions, and there's 2 here I got on Sam Records. And this is Bobby Jaspar, who I've heard of, but I'd never really heard his music. He's a saxophone and flautist. And this record is this flute playing, recorded in like 1958, I believe. Oh, wow. In Paris. And it is so friggin' beautiful. It's like, it reminds me of those like late 60s, mid 60s kind of movies where there's a lot of like hipster 20-something, 30-somethings at a party drinking martinis and drinks, and there's like a jazz combo playing the flute. You don't hear a lot of records that are not kind of overproduced, and it's like, it's just is it a trio or a quartet? I don't even remember, but I think he's Belgium artist, and it's really good if you like that. I could see you putting this up and just having a little cocktail party. It's not out there. It's very accessible, and it's really beautiful. Bobby Jaspar, self-titled. I think these originally came out on a French label called Barclay Discs, which I didn't know about. And the other one that I got at the same time, I bought these, you can get them directly from them in France, but with all the pandemic, they go out of print pretty fast, but I got them at a place called In Grooves in Phoenix. They had them. So that guy that does all the weekly thing, the beard, bald guy. And the other one is Chet Baker. And this is not a vocal version of Chet Baker. It's his trumpet playing. Again, recorded in Paris. Beautiful record. They sound really good. They got those kind of tipped on like 60s European jackets that you see like the old Pink Floyd records or the old, Beatle records from the UK. And they're just great. So Michael, 45 RPM.
There you go.
Love
you remembered his name now.
Well, I did not. 45 RPM. I want to say analog, but it's Okay.
Next.
I have one more. So after this.
Yeah, one more. Then you're cutting me off.
Well, you can keep going.
So this.
I'll go make a drink, and you can keep going for a while.
I'll just keep talking. And I'm probably the last person that would do that. But let's see. So Root Boy Slim. Oh my gosh. I'm going out of order here. So hold on one second. Rod the Happy Hippie. I don't know why. Rod the Happy Hippie. Actually noticed I had a different Root Boy Slim in my in a video that I did, and I VCLT'd it to him. But then about 2 weeks ago, when I was down at Portland in Crossroads, I saw another Root Boy Slim, and picked this one up, which is
Crossroads is open. That's good.
Yeah. They've been open for a while.
Okay, have they?
And they're not, well, you know, they're a little bigger than Music Millennium, so
I've been to both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not as strict as they are. Music Millennium, they're very strict on.
I was just there like last month or when I was back from the San Francisco.
Yeah. So, anyways, Rod has roots in Maryland, so does Root Boy, and but really fun stuff. It's not, when you look it up, it's not expensive online, but you don't see it that much out in the wild.
I've never seen that record.
Yeah, you don't see it too much, but you could still, like on Discogs, buy it, I think, for less than $20. So, but kind of an interesting guy, kind of a, I don't know, mixture between the Tubes and Frank Zappa kind of thing. But interesting story.
Root Boy Slim,
Root Boy Slim and Rod,
and not to be confused with Fat Boy Slim.
No, much different sound.
Norman, yeah. Okay, my final one. I might have a little bonus one after if you do one more, but this is a bonus. Bonus is a big thing here on the VC. Bonus questions.
That's right.
Okay.
Especially with you.
Sherv shows the most amazing music that I've never heard of. Aside from, it's been a pleasure working with him and Dave again, Local Bandography, and Ron in Spain on the Blue Note 4000 series. That's been kind of a fun ride. But Sherv has like all this sort of Middle Eastern and African and jazz stuff that I've never heard of, an incredible collection. And we tried to do one of these joint videos, and we just couldn't get the technology going. So I guess he's in Southern California also, I think east of LA. I guess they don't have the internet there that works or something. I don't know what's going on there. But the album that's become one of my favorite albums of this year, and it's not a new album, so I can't even put it in my best of, but I might cheat at the end of this year. And this is Maki Asakawa.
Oh yeah, I saw you show that before.
I never heard of this woman in my life until he showed it and he played it, and I ordered it, and it wasn't really too hard to get. This is a double album, and this is basically a comp overview of her work. She's someone who made these records, I think late 60s, early 70s through the 80s. And so it has a whole progression. She is a combination of a jazz lounge singer, modern, moody, intimate music, a little folksy, I said a little jazzy. She does a version, one song I knew like right off the bat, because there's a song on here called Govinda, and it's an Indian chant, Indian song that I knew because it's on an album that was on Apple Records that George Harrison produced called the Radha Krishna Temple, that came out in the late 60s, early 70s on Apple Records. It's very like Krishna type music. And she doesn't. She's this Japanese singer, this beautiful woman. And it's just, I play this record. She's almost like Yoko Ono with a voice. And I love Yoko Ono, but you know, Yoko doesn't have a great singing voice. Little folky at times too. And so the music goes in different directions. I play this record almost more than any record right now. And I think that anyone that likes kind of moody, loungy jazz without being too like sucky up jazz or lounge stuff. I mean, some jazz vocals can be very, I don't want to say pathetic. That sounds really condescending, but very MOR, music, middle of the road. She's got some kind of little Japanese edge. She sings in English and in Japanese, mostly Japanese. And it's just a gorgeous record. She's a total bohemian type of artist. And I love that cover. I mean, that looks so like 70s or 60s.
Yeah. No, so that looks really interesting. I got to get that one.
So Sherv, I want to thank you, the bottom of my heart. I hope you're watching this video. This to me is one of the best albums that I own in my collection. And that's a lot to say. Again, it's not for everybody. Some people won't dig this stuff. So maybe check it out, but it's very accessible, but really interesting.
It's good. All right, so we're gonna do one more, one.
I'll end up after you because you started out. I'm like the home team. I get to.
You got the last bat.
I'm gonna bat.
I got halfway through the Mariners game last night, speaking of which.
Baseball every day, another team drops.
I know. The Marlins dropped.
I did order. I just couldn't resist. When I was a kid, I used to go to hockey games with my dad, so I ordered a Kraken T-shirt.
Oh. Is that's the new hockey team?
I love that they went with that name, the Seattle Kraken.
I know.
You know Kraken. Release the Kraken. Do you know what a Kraken is?
Yeah. The monster.
It's a sea creature.
Okay, let me do a double shout out since you're going to go last.
Okay.
But only because one of them's for you, because I know you probably exclusive here. But first, before we do that, going back over to the UK to your friend in Manchester there, Rob.
Wow.
Rob Walker introduced me to these guys, Elbow, and this is
Manchester band.
Yeah, Manchester band, Giants of All Sizes. Sound a little bit like Peter Gabriel. They remind me a lot of Peter Gabriel's music.
Keep going.
But interesting stuff. Let's see, what else do I have on this one? Oh yeah, so this is their 2019 release, Giants of All Sizes. That's about all I had on this one.
Okay.
But anyways, Rob's a great guy. Rob's great, always speaking from the heart, and I love his channel. I
feel bad, but because I didn't want to show CDs, but since you showed that, Rob sent me this. This is a comp, or no, this is the Seldom Seen Kid, an album by Elbow.
Okay.
So I just remember, I did a Manchester video also.
Right.
And I never had an Elbow record. I don't know if I ever heard Elbow. So he actually sent me this beautiful CD. And I've been playing this a lot, and I really like it. So he wasn't one of my picks. I'm sorry, Rob. Because I didn't want to show CD, and I totally forgot until you brought that up. So Rob,
there you go.
Or as Rob would say, "Hi, this is Rob Walker." He used to kind of whispers. Hi. I should be wearing like a Manchester United T-shirt or whatever the team is. Sweatshirt.
Okay, one other real quick one. Shout out to Mazzy. You've seen me show this record on Instagram before, but I really like this one out of that late 60s San Francisco sound. And good record. I think they got a little saxophone in here too and stuff.
It's a big, that came out in '68 on Capitol Records, double album. It opens up with this great song, 1984A, I think it's called. And there's like vibes on it. There's horns on it. They were like Chicago, a psychedelic version of Chicago, bluesy. Yeah. Then they changed the name to the Suns, and then Yogi Flem, and then Sun, and then, I mean, unfortunately they were. I saw them once live, like around 1969. They were fucking great. They were part of the whole Avalon Fillmore scene. Really good. Bill Champlin. I mean, they never really made it nationally, but that's a great cover. But Bill Champlin, at least he made some money because later, unfortunately, I guess, or fortunately for him, he joined Chicago. And I think Chicago got really boring and did all their kind of MOR shit. But I think he made a lot of money with them. But that's a beautiful record.
Yeah. And I don't know if you knew this. The guy,
it was
there's
censored.
a censored version here. Yeah. This, it says big fucking deal or something.
Yeah.
And I was trying to read up on it, and they said, oh, some of them are scratched out. I'm like, what does it mean scratched out? And I've looked at a few copies of these since, and they actually do. You see where it's actually scratched out. Somebody went in with something and scratched.
I think I have two copies, one with the fuck and one scratched or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that record.
Yeah, great record.
Okay, I'm going to end up with actually a gift. I didn't buy these, and it was like a VCLT. But it's someone, again, fairly new to me, noted and archived, Michael. He's in Austin. He's temporarily in LA right now, but he sent me these two records. I just showed him. These are his band. This is his band. And
I remember that.
When this arrived, I hate to admit it, I'd seen the record, Balmoria, Stranger. This is this is an older record from 2011, maybe? I don't remember exactly. His band from Austin, it's mainly the two guys plus him and a guy named Rob Lowe, not the actor Rob Lowe. And his channel, noted and archived, does a lot of his audiophile stuff too, and he's sort of befriended Michael in Germany, but he does like a lot of ambient. He's a fan like me of Calexico. We're fans of Calexico, that kind of music, which is sort of vast Tex-Mex type of Morricone, really beautiful records, country, alternative, whatever. But he sent me this, and it's very minimal, some acoustic, some ambient stuff. They have a new album actually coming out like very soon. He texted me and told me, or inboxed me. I can't wait for that. But he also sent me a solo album he did that came out last year, I think. And what is it called? I should look this up. It's called Lower River. And again, it's minimal, gorgeous. I mean, it's hard to see the cover artwork, like a mountain, Japanese artist or mountain, I think. And it's got some of that typical hipster type that someone old can't read. You know, it's like,
yeah, small reference.
I'm kidding, but I just want to say thank you, Michael, and I will pre-order a couple copies of your new album because the archivist wants one, so we want them signed. So I can see.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, they're very easygoing. It's great Sunday morning music, and that's a compliment on that. So that's my last thing. Again, I didn't buy it because of him, but there are other things that he's shown that I like the Calexico stuff he's been into, and I've been a fan of them for a long time too. So I think we covered a lot.
Covered a lot.
Yeah, only like maybe 2 or 3 overlaps.
Yeah.
So everybody stop the video and look for those artists. I'm not going to list like all 20 or 30, whatever people to shout out. You need to do your own homework. So any last words, Kimbo?
I think that's it. Thanks for inviting me. I do want to thank you for one other thing. I think when I had probably less than 50 subs, you wrote me a note on one of my videos, and I was sky high. Somebody with like 1,000 subs had written a note on me, so I want to thank you for doing that.
I think, you know, it's funny. Awesome. A couple of people have said that, but I remember writing people who had thousands or a lot more when I was starting out, and I don't think it's a big deal. I do. The hard thing is answering everybody when they do make a comment. That's the thing. Sometimes I just do a heart or a thumbs up, but to me, the only person that does that and does it well is Rachel, the Music Man. I mean, she enters every contest. I'm sorry, Rachel, we didn't show any of your work. Let's just shout Rachel out. Yeah. She has got to be like, Bill Vinylverse is like one of the nicest guys in the VC, right. But Rachel is just so endearing, and I like to say motherly, like a Jewish mother who's not Jewish. And I just love that she comments on everything. She's so, the bottom of my heart, not just being a Beatle fan, but it's just, I mean, she sent some wonderful things about my channels, and she used to comment like a year before she even started here. So I'll do a shout out for her, even though I'm not going to bring in Beatle album because she shows it, you know.
Yeah, no, she's fantastic. Yeah. I call her the VC advocate. I mean, she just keeps it going.
She finds the new channels. Whenever I see a new channel, I look, God, she's already commented on it. I don't even know who is this person. But the thing is, you know, I don't know. I don't think it was a big deal. If you like something, you comment on it. I don't know. I mean, we're not, I think a lot of us, you know, and the people that we've all talked to aren't these, and no offense to commercial-based channels, these commercials, all the big hoopla and the, you know, that whole thing of showing it that has 30,000 or 100,000 subscribers, that it's more of a commercial endeavor. We're doing it to show our collections, and we love music. So that's how I look at it. You know.
All right.
Well, Kimbo, thank you. And this will be up Friday. By the time you're watching it, it's up. Mazzy loves you.
All right. See you, everybody.